For 30 years, one bomber has been the ghost at the edge of the world's worst wars. It slipped out of Missouri in the dark, crossed oceans without a trace, and erased targets that never even knew they'd been seen. It was built to end the world once, and instead spent its life making sure that never had to happen. Now, a new ghost is coming, built for a battlefield where even stealth can't hide you. And there's one upgrade that doesn't just beat the B-2, it rewrites how nuclear war is even fought. This is AirPower Insight. We go past the brochures into the black budget reality of modern air power. If you don't want the press release version of the B-21, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Let me show you that upgrade in action by putting the B-2 and B-21 into the same war. To understand the revolution, you have to understand the legend it's replacing, the B-2 Spirit. Born in the late Cold War, it was never meant to be just another bomber. It was an engineering moonshot, a flying wing with no vertical surfaces, wrapped in radar-absorbent materials, every edge curved or serrated to scatter radar energy away. On a scope, it wasn't supposed to be a bomber. It was supposed to be background noise. Its job was simple and terrifying. On day one of World War III, slip through the densest air defenses ever built, fly straight into the heart of the Soviet Union, and decapitate the command structure before it could finish ordering the end of the world. And in a way, it worked. When it finally went to war, it was absurdly effective. In Kosovo in 1999, B-2s flew less than 1% of NATO sorties, but destroyed roughly a third of all Serbian targets in the first weeks of the air campaign. In Iraq in 2003, a handful of Spirits launched from Missouri, stayed airborne for over 30 hours, and shredded hundreds of high-value targets in a single campaign. On paper, the Ghost was everything it promised to be, but there was a catch. Each airframe cost over $2 billion by some estimates, so expensive that the planned fleet of 132 aircraft collapsed to just 21. And the B-2 was fragile in ways press briefings never advertised. Its stealth skin wasn't paint. It was an entire ecosystem of exotic coatings and materials that had to be pampered. If you parked a B-2 outside for too long, the weather literally ate its low observable performance. Every mission meant hundreds of man-hours of touch-up work in climate-controlled hangars. That meant only a few bases in the entire world could realistically host it. Underneath the skin, its brain was equally frozen in time. It was built in the 1980s when open architecture wasn't a design philosophy yet. Its avionics were wired together like a closed circuit. Every major upgrade was an invasive surgery, not a software drop. The result? A masterpiece trapped in amber. The B-2 was the perfect bomber for a world that doesn't exist anymore. The threat picture changed, the physics of stealth didn't. And that's the key detail most people miss. The B-2 was built for Armageddon, but it never actually flew its original mission. Instead of launching from secret forward bases to penetrate Soviet airspace, it spent its combat life flying marathon missions from the continental United States. Think about what that really means. To hit targets in Serbia or Iraq, a B-2 would launch from Missouri, refuel multiple times over the ocean, drop its weapons, then refuel again and fly all the way home. You've got a bomber that's supposed to be surgically invisible, but the tanker tracks, the predictable corridors, the limited bases, all of that gives adversaries a pattern to study. And because the jet was so maintenance intensive, you couldn't surge it in large numbers. Every sortie was precious. Every bomb drop had to be pre-planned to the maximum. There wasn't much room for improvisation once it was in the air. That's not a failure of the airplane. That's the reality of an exquisite fragile platform designed in an analog age trying to live in a digital one. Now, fast forward to the 2020s and look at the world it's being asked to fly into. The world moved on. It's not just about a single radar site anymore. It's a layered digital web of low-frequency radars, over-the-horizon sensors, passive RF arrays, infrared search and track systems, space-based surveillance, and AI fusion tying it all together. In that world, the B-2's specialized stealth is no longer a guaranteed cloak of invisibility. The Ghost is slowly becoming visible, maybe not clearly, maybe not consistently, but enough to turn a clean penetration into a coin flip. That's why America built the B-21 Raider. On paper, it's another flying wing, another stealth bomber, another line in the budget that makes your eyes water. But the real upgrade isn't the airframe, it's the brain. So, what does that actually look like in a real war? Let's run 2 timelines on day 1 of a Pacific conflict. Same red side, same target set, same nuclear warheads waiting in their silos as backup. The only difference is which ghost you send in first. Timeline A, we run the 1990s Playbook with B-2's. It's the opening hours of a conflict with a peer adversary in the Western Pacific. Your goal is simple in theory and brutal in practice. Blind and paralyze their command structure before they can coordinate a full response. That means buried command bunkers, fiber optic routing hubs, over-the-horizon radar nodes watching the Pacific, satellite uplink stations, the digital organs that let their military see, think, and react. B-2s launch from the only bases that can realistically host them. Tankers queue up across the Pacific. Every step of that chain is something the enemy has rehearsed in their war games for 20 years. Against a 2020 sensor grid, the spirits are no longer ghosts. They're extremely quiet, extremely hard to see intruders, but not impossible ones. Long wavelength radars on the periphery start seeing something hundreds of miles out. Passive sensors quietly correlate emissions and contrails. Space-based surveillance flags, anomalies in known air corridors. You never get a bright red B-2 here marker on a screen, but you get enough hints to light up defenses along the most likely routes. Fighters scramble. Long-range SAM batteries move from standby to alert. Data links that were meant to be surprised aren't. The B-2s can probably still get in once, maybe twice, but every mission is a carefully staged heist that gets riskier with each repetition. You're burning through the element of surprise to buy a few short windows of access. You can hit hard, but you can't stay. Timeline B, same opening hours, same targets, same stakes. But now it's B-21’s. Instead of pushing your few exquisite stealth bombers straight into the teeth of that network, the raiders start from the edges. From over 1,500 miles away, well outside the densest air defenses, they launch what will be the new long-range standoff missile, a stealthy, terrain-hugging cruise missile designed to slip through that same defensive web on its own. These are your long hand daggers, reaching deep without exposing the hand that threw them. But here's where the B-21 stops being just a bomber. The raiders don't simply fire and turn home. They push forward. Their all-spectrum, more maintainable stealth design allows them to hang out in places the B-2 could not. Inside the outer rings of the enemy's sensor grid, just below the threshold of confident detection. And they're not alone. They bring company, swarms of collaborative combat drones and standoff jammers, unmanned sensor nodes, maybe even loyal wingmen we haven't seen publicly yet. On board, the B-21 sensors aren't just looking for targets. They're mapping the enemy's emissions, tracking which radars light up, which links carry the heaviest traffic, where the seams appear in the coverage. From there, the Raider becomes a penetrating command and control hub, a flying quarterback. It fuses what it sees with data from satellites, surface ships, and other aircraft, then pushes targeting and jamming instructions back out to the rest of the force. Fighters hundreds of miles away get cleaner targeting data. Submarines get updated positions for coastal radar and C2 sites. Drone swarms adjust their routes in real time to exploit new gaps. To the defending side, something strange starts happening. Radars that should be safe start going dark. Fiber lines that were supposed to be redundant suddenly feel very non-redundant. Air defense sectors lose picture not all at once, but piece by piece. Every time they think they have re-established a clean track, it slips. In both timelines, the warheads are identical. The difference is whether the enemy still has a functioning brain by the time they have to decide whether to use theirs. What you just saw is more than a new bomber. It's a different theory of how to prevent a nuclear war in the first place. Defeating one aircraft is an engineering problem. You tweak a radar, upgrade a missile, add another battery. Defeating an intelligent, adaptable, and upgradable system is something else entirely. You're no longer trying to keep out a single arrow. You're trying to outthink an archer who keeps changing where he stands, what he shoots, and how he aims, without telling you. This is the power of the B-21's open systems architecture, where the B-2 was built like a flip phone, sealed, closed, and painful to update. The B-21 is a flying supercomputer built around the idea of continuous evolution. Sensors, electronic warfare suites, data links, even some mission systems are meant to be swapped, upgraded, or recoded without tearing the airplane apart every time. That turns it from a bomber into a system of systems node. Forget once-in-a-decade B-2 raids. The B-21 is designed to be a constant, invisible thumb on the scale. Always there, never reliably targetable, always smart enough to plug into the next generation of black-budget toys. You can see that philosophy in the weapons it will carry. The B-21 is dual-capable. It can carry precision conventional weapons, and it's being built to deliver modernized nuclear payloads like the B-21’s gravity bomb. That gets it inside hardened target sets that older bombs struggled with. But the real shift is its pairing with the nuclear-armed version of the LRSO cruise missile. That combination creates a flexible, global threat profile. You're no longer limited to penetrate or don't penetrate. You have options along an entire spectrum: conventional standoff strikes, stealth bomber penetrations, nuclear standoff options launched far outside the heaviest defenses. For an adversary, that means there is no single radar to upgrade, no single SAM to buy. That suddenly makes the B-21 irrelevant. You're buying into an arms race with a system that was designed from day one to keep changing the rules. That's not just combat power, it's deterrence by uncertainty. This new approach is all about creating options. Where the B-2 offered two settings, off or launch everything, the B-21 turns the nuclear ladder into a dimmer switch. You can apply exactly as much pressure as you want, exactly where you want it, with a platform that can be present long before the shooting starts. Imagine you're on the other side. You know the B-21 exists. You know roughly where it could fly from. You know it can launch long-range nuclear cruise missiles, and you suspect it's quietly mapping your air defense network every time it comes near. But you don't know which of your radars it's already tagged, which fiber routes it's already mapped, which command posts it's silently rehearsed killing. Then, in a crisis, little things start to feel wrong. Radars that were rock solid yesterday start showing intermittent gaps. Data links you trust start to lag. Satellites you rely on pick up background noise that doesn't quite fit. Is that an exercise, a glitch? Or is there already a B-21 sitting just outside your airspace, feeding real-time tasking to assets you can't see? The B-21's real weapon is time. It steals your ability to know when you've already lost. And that logic extends into the cockpit itself. The B-21 is designed to be optionally manned, with the capability for future unmanned operations built into its DNA. The US Air Force isn't openly planning for AI-only nuclear missions, but the fact that the Airframe is architected to fly with or without humans tells you where the thinking is going, toward a world where the line between bomber, drone mothership, and flying data center gets very blurry. The B-2 was the pinnacle of 20th century air warfare, creating the perfect arrow and training the perfect archer to fire it. The B-21 is the all-seeing eye of an archer who can coordinate 100 arrows at once and never has to stand in the same place twice. The B-21 Raider's true power isn't a new bomb or a stealthier skin. It's a new brain, designed not just to penetrate the defenses of today, but to outthink the threats of tomorrow. It's not just a bomber, it's a new kind of battlefield intelligence, one that quietly reshapes escalation, deterrence, and the decisions national leaders have to make when the world is falling apart. That's why the most dangerous thing about the B-21 isn't its bomb bay. It's what it does to every decision made before those doors ever open. If you want more of the hidden upgrades that quietly rewrite the rules of AirPower, not just the brochure specs, subscribe to AirPower Insight and watch this breakdown on the LRSO missile next. It's the weapon that turns the B-21's threat from regional to truly global.